It's a Tuesday night, so you know it's time to debate on all things Quinnipiac sports. Men's basketball had their home opener and swept the court with fans packing the stands. Men's ice hockey had some jaw-dropping plays, and volleyball playoffs begin this weekend. All this and more starting right now on Bobcat Breakdown. Welcome to Studio 125. I'm your host, Melanie Carreri. Alongside me, I have two Quinnipiac sport gurus, Joey O'Donoghue and Nick Antoniadis. How are you guys feeling tonight?
I'm feeling great, Nick. I love talking about Quinnipiac sports, and I love being right, so it's a great show for me.
Well, you got to be prepared because this is going to be a great show. I'm excited for today.
Absolutely. Let's get right into it. This past weekend, the men's basketball team welcomed Western New England to the People's United Center with a slow start to the game, 24-0. How are the Bobcats able to come back and sweep the court 103-52? Joey?
Yeah, so it all happened on this 24-0 run, Nick, and it was because of their three-point shooting. Specifically, I want to highlight Bobcat favorite Jacob Rigoni. Let me set the scene for you, Nick. He catches the ball. It's a catch and shoot. Bottom, he drills it. The fans are going crazy. It's the 1,000-point scorer. He eclipsed 1,000 last season. Couple possessions later, catch, shoot. Bangs it home again. That's 2 threes on this run. The fans are going crazy, and it's energy that the Bobcats haven't had in years. And so Western New England hasn't had to play against this kind of energy as well in a couple of years. And so the three-point shooting on this run absolutely fueled it, and the fans being in the arena gave them the energy to blow this game out of the water.
Yeah, I do agree. It did feel good to have fans back at the arena, but let's also not forget about junior guard Matt Blanc. He ended up getting 17 points this game. And he was so easy getting onto the paint and getting those easy layups. And he also had a three that game. Like you said before, the threes were big in this game. Also with the hands on Jacob Rigoni, who ends up getting 8 points, but 6 of those points were big threes during this game. So both Matt Blanc and also Jacob Rigoni, it was huge for them to go out there and get this win for this Quinnipiac men's basketball team against New England. So I do believe that this is going to be the step in the right direction for this team.
Yeah, I mean, they shot 44.4% from beyond the arc. That's incredible. Matt Blanc was also part of it, as you mentioned. He hit a couple jumpers, and he drilled a three on that big run. And I also want to point out something that we haven't highlighted yet is the dime dropping, the assists that we've seen. This team's been distributing the basketball beautifully. Savion Lewis had 7 assists in that game, and Kevin Marfo had 7 assists in that game. We're going to talk about his role a bit later in the show, but they were creating open looks, drilling open threes. It was beautiful basketball all around. That's what fueled them to get this big win.
Oh, yeah. It has to start with the chemistry. I mean, this is a great team that has great chemistry on and off the court, too. So when you get to see that this team is going to be, like, getting great assists, finding the open people, it's special. And I really think that this team is going to be going forward and going to be finding more people people to be open and also get some points in. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
The Bobcats faced off against Holy Cross yesterday, winning 76-68. This was their first win versus a Division I school. Nick, what was the reason for this?
Well, there's one person that I was so excited to see play again this season. After not having him play at all last year, I got to go with center Kevin Marfo. Against Western New England, he did struggle a little bit, having 6 turnovers with 0 points, but watching him last night play the game that we've all remember him playing, it just felt so good to watch. 12 points with 14 rebounds as he gets the double-double, 7 assists, and also a block. It had to feel so good for Marfo knowing the game that he played when he was with us in 2019 and 2020 season. And it felt good to the fans to see him because, remember, last year he wasn't with the team as he was in Texas A&M, and our center at the time was Seth Pinkney. Now Pinkney is not part of the team anymore, and getting back our center Kevin Marfo, it's absolutely incredible, and I hope this is a step in the right direction for him and also for this basketball team.
Yeah, listen, I mean, they've been shooting incredible from three-point range, as I mentioned. They're 40% on the season right now. They also have 58 assists on the season. Once again, talking about that distribution of the ball, that's amazing. And Kevin Marfo, if you didn't watch him freshman year, Nick, and you were a freshman right now, you would blink and think, is this guy a point guard? I mean, the new role that Kevin Marfo has right now is quite amazing. He's averaging 6 assists per game right now. He had 7 assists in the past 2 games. To put that in perspective, his career high in assists is 8. And he's been 1 shy of that in the past 2 games. And what I think is happening is teams know about Kevin Marfo. So when he catches the ball on the post or at the top of the key, defenses are locked in on him. Sometimes they'll draw a double. And so what Dunleavy's saying is, don't be afraid to pass that up. And you'll see Marfo surveying the court now. Guys like Taimu and Tyrese are cutting immediately when Marfo catches the ball. He's also bringing the ball up. We saw him drill a 3 in the last game. I mean, really, if I was describing this, you'd think, oh, who's this 6'9" point guard you're talking about? But I'm talking about Kevin Marfo, and he's been amazing. I mean, dropping dimes out there, bringing the ball up the court. This new role that Baker has for him is quite incredible, and it's really working out for them already this season. Like I mentioned, 7 assists in the past 2 games. He's finding teammates that are cutting at the exact right time, and this new Kevin Marfo role is something I really like. And he's still grabbing boards as the rebound king.
Well, that's a great thing, a great topic to say about that, because even with that game against Western New England, he did struggle, but he also started with 7 assists. He's still finding the people, and that's what you do when you're a great player. You find people and you try to change up your game, and that's what he's trying to do this season. You're probably going to not really see much players get many assists, but seeing Marfo get those assists, it's a great thing to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Staying on the court, but switching locker rooms. The women's basketball team is vibrant on all areas of the court, but Joey, where do the Bobcats have the most depth on the court?
Listen, Nick, this one's pretty obvious to me. It's their guards. They are so deep at the guard position. When you look at their top 6 scoring leaders, 5 of them are guards. 5 of the players with the most points on the team are all guards, and the person who's leading the team in points is Mackenzie DeWeese. She's got 34 points on the season. And you might think about forwards and say, oh, well, they're getting it done defensively, right? But the metrics I look at to judge defense are steals and blocks. Mackenzie DeWeese has 11 steals on the season. That is a substantial lead over anyone on the team. And then Bonner is tied for the team lead in blocks. She's got 2 blocks on the season. Defensively, offensively, wherever you look, the guards are the ones getting it done for the Bobcats.
Well, I have to agree with you and also disagree with you. And I really think that this forward position for this women's basketball team is also a very big position for us. As we see Michaela Morris, who's already off to a hot start for this team, as she's getting 15 to 16 points against Fordham and also in that last game against Central Connecticut. So, yes, the guards are a very big position for this team, but the forward position, you can't forget about that. But like you said before, you get to see Mackenzie DeWeese, and we also see that senior backup guard Kaylee Smith, who's also doing extremely well for this team. So honestly, in my opinion, I can definitely see this forward Michaela Morris be a very big asset for this team. And also, if you have these 3 girls, Coach Fabry is going to be okay having these 3 girls in big games, especially coming up soon.
Nick, you're way off on this one. I'm not going to lie.
Hey.
Michaela Morris, their star forward, she leads the team in turnovers, and that lead is substantial. She has 9 turnovers, and you have to think, guards are the ones handling the ball all the time, and they're not turning it over nearly as much as Michaela Morris is. And then you factor in her field goal percentage. Michaela Morris is only shooting about 42% right now from the floor. And if you look at the top 4 leaders in field goal percentage on this women's team, all of them are guards. All of the top 4 players in shooting are guards. That's incredible because typically it's the big fellas that'll have the best shooting percentage. All they do is hang around under the basket, put back layups. They don't have to take outside shots. So I also want to take a moment to say how incredible it is that Mackenzie DeWeese is 4th in field goal percentage with the amount of usage she has for her to be up there. That's incredible. But like I said, Nick, Michaela Morris is supposed to be their star forward, and the guards are dominating the stat sheet right now.
Hey, it's really early in the season, but we'll see later on in the season. I think Michaela Morris is going to be okay.
Thanksgiving break is next week, but sports doesn't stop. The Bobcats will face off against the 8th-ranked team in the country, Indiana. Nick, what are your expectations for that game?
Honestly, for this game, I want to see more from senior guard Rose Cavalry. In the first game of the season against Fordham, she played extremely well, going 4 for 5 for 3. But in the second game, she did struggle a little bit from 3. I think this team really needs her to step up, especially against very tough teams in both Army West Point on Thursday and also against the number 8 team in Indiana on Saturday. Those teams aren't easy teams. But if she gets the ball and can make those buckets, I believe this team will be in a very good position to win these 2 games because, like I said before, these 2 teams are not an easy team. And this team is going to be having a tough schedule. So I think that if they have Rose Cavalry go out there and get those 3s, they'll be in a good position.
Yeah, I mean, Rose Cavalry could be shooting at a better clip than she is right now, but I think Michaela Morris is the one that's got to step up. I mean, once again, I talk about how she's leading the team in turnovers with 9. There could definitely be room for improvement there. And she's also second on the team in personal fouls. I mean, she has 6 in just the 2 games this season. That's never helpful. And when you're going to play a number 8 ranked team like Indiana, They have that 6'3" forward over there, Mackenzie Holmes, who she can shoot, she can defend. Michaela Morse is going to have her hands full. She's going to hang with Holmes there. And what I think Morse is going to have to do, she's going to have to play that kind of Holmes role that Holmes does for Indiana, almost like an Anthony Davis type of role for the Lakers. You're going to need Michaela Morse to be able to shoot the outside shot, but also clamp down defensively. And because she's their best forward, she's going to have to be the one to step up if they're going to want a chance at beating the number 8 ranked Indiana.
It's time to take our first break of the night, but don't go anywhere as we discuss volleyball and all things men's and women's hockey. We'll be right back.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
Come on, Jules, spotting on this last one. There it is. Keep going with it. Leo.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job.
I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing.
After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working.
I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this.
You will find something.
You will find something new.
Welcome back. Let's switch it from the courts to the ice. Men's ice hockey were able to get the puck to the back of the net both Friday and Saturday versus Arizona State, defeating the Sparky Suns with a rough start to the first game on Friday. They were able to come out with a win. Joey, what was the reason for this win?
Yeah, well, first of all, they had that rough start, as Mel just mentioned, and there's a couple reasons for that. I mean, in the first period, they were down 2-0, but you have to look at what they did. They were still out shooting Arizona State. They had 9 shots as opposed to Arizona's 6 in that first period. So despite them being down 2-0, they were rattling off well more shots, and they were just missing shots left and right. But so what they ended up doing was, in the first period, you saw that they couldn't capitalize on opportunities. They couldn't capitalize on chances. They really couldn't finish. And then all of a sudden, they went on an incredible run and just put their foots down and finally got all that stuff sorted out and fixed. Ended up winning the game 5-3. And you can see they dominated in shots on goal there, 32-18. So really it was just a matter of not being able to finish in the first period, and then all of a sudden their pressure got home and they were able to come out with a victory.
Yeah, I do agree, but in the first period, Arizona State University started very aggressive, and I believe Quinnipiac wasn't just ready for that. ASU is a very aggressive team, especially early into the games, and we saw that last Friday. After 11 shots on goal, they ended up getting 2 goals were recorded. Another thing is that Quinnipiac defense wasn't there for Yaniv Peretz, who ends up having a fantastic game despite being against a really tough ASU team. After the first period, the defense did regroup, ended up not letting Arizona State not get many chances to go out and shoot the puck. I think what this team really needs to do is not let very tough offensive teams, such as Arizona State, get many opportunities, and of course help out their goaltender, who is having a fantastic season so far.
With the weekend win, the Bobcats had a slow start. They are ranked 5th in the ECAC, but Nick, are they actually playing like a 5th seed team?
I don't know about you, Joey, but I believe that this team is a top 5 team so far. They have all the pieces they need for success, and everything is starting to click for this men's ice hockey team. Yannick Perez is playing incredible. Ty Smolanic is starting to get really hot on the right time, and seeing Captain Wyatt Bongiovanni starting to come together as well. If those players stay hot, and then this team will be in a good shape. But of course, the competition isn't going to be easier going forward. On Friday, they do face off against Clarkson, which isn't a team that they should take it easy on. I do believe that Coach Pecknode will be ready, and so are the players. This is a very special hockey team with a lot of special players, so I do think that they will be ready and be the top 5 team that they are.
Yeah, Nick, I'm going to give you this one. I absolutely agree. This team looks like a top 5 team out there on the ice. You talk about that game against Arizona State where they were down. It's not how you fall, it's how you bounce back. They scored 5 unanswered goals in that game. That is incredible, and they dominated the stat sheet. I mean, they were winning 61% of the faceoffs and absolutely made their presence felt, playing like a top 5 team. And then that second leg fixture, they won 5-2. It wasn't even a question. They were down 1-0 early, and by the second period, they said, we're not letting this happen again. They just went out there and dominated, sweeping Arizona State 5-3 in the first one, 5-2 in the next one. Absolutely, they play like a top 5 team.
Switching locker rooms, the Bobcats were undefeated up until Saturday. They were 10-0 until Princeton visited the People's United Center, where their winning streak ended. Nick, what was the cause for the loss for the Bobcats?
Honestly, there's a couple things that need to be fixed from this women's ice hockey team. From this loss, first, it has to go for the offense. It wasn't there that game. And they have been struggling so far this season, especially when we saw last Friday against Princeton and also against RPI last Saturday as well. When they had chances to score on the power play, they were unable to capitalize, as they went 0 for 2 on the power plays, especially on the second power play. They had 0 shots on goal, which is nothing that you can that should be, that shouldn't happen. And another thing is that they won 27 faceoffs out of 60. Honestly, they just need to focus on the faceoffs, especially and also on the offense, especially in close games. But I do have to say, there is one positive note that I have to say about this team, and is that their defense. It's been absolutely spectacular this season. And as always, their goaltender, Corrine Schreider, has played fantastic as well. I think that they just need to focus on getting goals so Schreider doesn't have to go into a game and honestly just constantly think about, I need to get a shutout this game. So the offense just need to get it there. But I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, what happened there is quite simply they didn't create enough chances. You talked about that second power play, 0 shots, right? I mean, 0. That is just unheard of. And then the face-off battle, that's out of character for this team. Typically they win about 60% of their face-offs, right? And so losing that face-off battle to Princeton was just out of character for this Bobcats team. And so they really just have to have their forwards in the right spots so they can rebound on the power play and create more chances, because 0 shots, that's inexcusable on power plays, and they really just did not create enough opportunities in this game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you saw from this game, it's like they need to be the team that they are, which they are an undefeated team, and we have high expectations for this. I was hoping for them to win these 2 games against Princeton, but on that Saturday game, it just didn't seem like that this offense was there for them. And honestly, on Friday when they go against Cornell, I think they'll be fine. This is just a little bump in the road, and they'll be in good shape.
We'll see what happens.
Now let's send it to volleyball beat reporter Gage Kilborn as he gives his expectations and predictions for the Bobcats as they enter the MAC tournament this weekend, facing off against the 3rd-ranked team, Marist.
Thank you, Mel. I just say, starting off, I'm going to do the whole tournament of the volleyball tournament. So we'll begin with the first quarterfinal match. It'll be between Fairfield and Siena. Now, Siena is coming in as the 8th seed this tournament, but they won't be traveling at all because they'll be the ones hosting the MAC tournament, as it will be up in Loudonville, New York. So Fairfield will be at a bit of a disadvantage because they make the travel from Connecticut up to New York. But Fairfield will be doing what they've done all season long. I think they're going to dominate throughout, and probably I'm going to say they're going to take 4 sets to get them to the semifinals, winning this one 3-1. Going into the second quarterfinal, I think it's going to be Canisius against Niagara. Now, in the regular season, the 2 teams have tied for conference records, but Canisius edged them in the tiebreaker situation. But where it will all lie down to, I think it's going to be a close match altogether, but I think it's going to be defense that's going to come up big, and Niagara's defense is a little bit stronger than Canisius's. So I think Niagara's going to come away winning the second quarterfinal match, and they'll move on to play against Fairfield in the semifinals. Heading down to the third quarterfinal, it is between number 2 seed Ryder. Now, Ryder finished 17-11 in overall and 14-4 in the regular season, where they'll be taking on number 7 seed Iona. Iona is coming in 10-17 overall and 8-10 in MAC play. And in MAC play, they've shown that they've shown some resilience this season. They've not only beaten one top 4 team, they've beaten 2. They've taken down Fairfield and Marist up to this point, and they've also beaten Quinnipiac twice. So they're used to playing with the teams that are above their caliber all season long. So that's why I think Iona is going to edge out Ryder and move on to the semifinals. And in the final quarterfinal, it is, of course, Marist, the 3 seed against the 6 seed Quinnipiac. Now, Quinnipiac has been struggling as of late, and they showed that they had they showed their resiliency as well, as they were down 2-0 against Marist at home here at the Burcon Court. But when it all comes down to it, Quinnipiac ever since they've been struggling, they're not able to finish matches off, and that's where their main problem is coming into this tournament. And as it was shown against the Iona match, where they were up 2-0, but they lost 3 straight sets to lose that match, and that set them down to the 6th seed. So I will be taking Marist over Quinnipiac in 4 sets, basically because Quinnipiac is not comfortable with finishing their matches out. So heading into the semifinals now, the first semifinal I have is between Fairfield and Canisius, and in the first semifinal, I believe it's going to be won by Fairfield. They've been dominant throughout the season, a 20-win team, so overall, which is incredible because they had some tough opponents out of conference schedule, one of them being against Hawaii in the Hawaii Invitational, which Hawaii and any Big West Conference team is really dominant at volleyball overall. And so I think Fairfield's shown their dominance and resiliency throughout the entire season in conference play, going 15-2. I think it's going to continue going forward into the Canisius match. Even though Canisius did beat them, I think Fairfield will rebound pretty quickly and win that one 3-1. In the second semifinal, it is between Iona and Marist. This one, I believe, is going to be kind of a blowout. Marist has been dominant all season long, and they're going to dominate this one, and I think they're going to win 3-1. And in my finals, it's Fairfield versus Marist. Pretty tough call because both teams have been very good all season long, but I'm going to probably go with Fairfield because, once again, they've been dominant. They have one of the best offenses in the conference, and they're going to go away winning their 5th MAC title in the last 7 seasons. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Gage. Now, Joey, where will the Bobcats end in the MAC tournament?
Listen, this might be a bold take, Nick, but I think they're going to pop off in the MAC tournament. I mean, I know they're the 6th seed, but what do we know about teams in all sports that get hot right before the postseason? They make a deep run in the playoffs. The Bobcats have won 5 of their last 8 matchups, and 2 of those games they lost only in the 5th set. So I have a lot of promise for this team coming up, and you got to look at their stats as opposed to the rest of the MAC. The Bobcats are 3rd in assists in the MAC. They're 4th in kills per set. They're 4th in service aces, and they're 2nd in digs per set. I mean, these are essential stats in volleyball that when you look at the rest of the MAC and how they line up, they're top 4, top 3 in all of these stats. And so I think that their record is not showing of the stats that they're putting up in the MAC.
Well, Joey, that was a very big, bold statement, but I just have to say this is a very tough competition for Quinnipiac as they were against number 3 Marist. The last time they faced off against each other, they did come back late, but they fell short in the end. I'm going to have to disagree with you and say I think this is going to be the end of the volleyball team, and they are going to lose against Marist on Friday. But, you know, anything could happen when it comes to playoffs. But I think that this is going to be the end of the season on Friday.
Anything can happen.
It's time to take our final break of the night, but don't go anywhere as we discuss the QBSN Game of the Week and, of course, Final Board. We'll be right back.
you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on, man, let's split a ride home.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Welcome back. Let's talk about the QBSN Game of the Week. Men's basketball hosted Western New England to the People's United Center this past weekend, defeating the Golden Bears 103-52. It was the home opener for the Bobcats, and the win is just the right push they need to start their season. 5 players scored double-digit figures. Matt Belanc and Tyrese Williams both totaled 17 points. Desi Jones had 14 points, and Taimu Cherney totaled 13 points. This 51-point victory was the largest win in the Division I era. The last largest lead was on November 22, 2005 versus Concordia. The Bobcats are set to face Central Connecticut State November 20th. Now it's time for Final Roars. Nick, you start.
For the past 2 years, I've been wanting to get back to the arena and watch a hockey game. Finally, I was able to watch the women's ice hockey play again, and it felt really good to watch a game. The atmosphere to be back felt so good. So far, women's ice hockey has been nothing but spectacular, as they started the first 13 games of the season undefeated, and after they got their first loss against Princeton, I know they will come back stronger and get back to play like the team that they were as they were undefeated. They will regroup and go on and defeat Cornell this Friday. They need the help of the goaltender, Corrine Schreider, forward Taylor House, and also Kendall Cooper, and get ready for the Nutmeg Classic coming up November 26th.
For my final roar, I want to take a moment to talk about what I've seen from the Bobcats men's basketball team. One key player I'm going to start by highlighting, and don't blink or you'll miss it. Matt Belanc, that is. He has been on fire coming off the bench for Dunleavy's Bobcats this season. Not only does he lead the team in points, but he's averaging 18 points per game right now. He also has 8 steals on the year and is shooting 63.6% from the floor. Next, Desi Jones has been an amazing signing. He is 4th on the team in points, and he has also recorded 8 steals. And finally, the rebound king, Kevin Marfo, is back in the lineup for the Bobcats, and he has been dropping dimes and grabbing boards all season long. He's averaging almost 10 rebounds per game and 6 assists per game. And I could go on and on about Jacob Rigoni, Taimu, Savion Lewis, Tyrese if I had time to. The depth on this Bobcats team this year is phenomenal. They also have the chip on their shoulder of being ranked 9th in the MAC before the season started. So look out for them to make some noise in the MAC this year.
For my final roar, I want to talk women's basketball. The team is bouncing back with winter sports now in full effect. They were predicted to rank 1st in the MAC with key players like Mackenzie DeWeese, who already averaged 34 points in the past 2 games, with other key players like Michaela Morris and Rose Caverly. I believe the Bobcats will have a strong season this year with head coach Trisha Fabry on the sidelines encouraging her girls every day. Teamwork, commitment, and communication are the key driving forces to winning the MAC and holding their spot at number 1. This time around, I believe the Bobcats will redeem last year's MAC tournament versus Rider and fulfill their spot and even possibly make the NCAA tournament. But with that said, that's all we have for tonight. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Q30 Sports and check out our website at Q30 Television. From the producers to everyone behind the scenes and to my analysts Joey and Nick, I'm Melanie Carreri, and we wish you a happy and healthy Thanksgiving. See you next time on Bobcat Breakdown.